Hello everyone, welcome to this new video. So today in this video, I will explain communication cycles of class 10 chapter unit 1, class 10 unit 1 chapter 2 communication cycle. Okay, so this comes under IT part A. So if I share the screen, so we have done methods of communication cycle. Now we'll do methods of communication we have done. Now we'll do communication cycle. So please listen the things carefully.
Hello students, today we are going to learn about communication cycle. In the previous chapter you have learned about communication and its types and how it plays a significant role in one's professional career. In this chapter you will read about the communication cycle and its importance. As you know, communication is a process of sharing information between two or more people through an exchange of thoughts, messages, using the medium of speech, visuals, symbols, writing, or behavior. Thus, the communication process lists the steps we take to comprehend each other properly. In the communication process, one person is a sender who conveys a message to another person or a group of persons known as the receiver. When the receiver gets the message, he acknowledges it and sends back a response. This leads to a cyclic process known as a communication cycle.
Yes. So here it's been said that in the communication process, a person will send a message to another person. The person who sends the message to the other is called the sender, and the person who receives the message is called the receiver. Okay. When the receiver gets the message, he acknowledges it and sends back a response. Yes. After receiving a message, the receiver will give a response. Okay, to the sender. So this leads to a cyclic process of communication cycle. So then we'll proceed.
The cycle describes how an idea, impression, or feeling is made known to others. A communication cycle includes resources such as email threads, social media outlets, video IP message outlets, etc. The effectiveness of a communication cycle depends on how long it takes for the feedback to be received by each sender. The quicker the response, the more effective is the cycle.
Yes, this is an important sentence. The quicker the response, the more effective is the cycle. Okay, when a sender sends a message to the receiver to another person, if the receiver quickly sends the response to the sender, then the information will be more effective. The ultimate communication cycle will be effective. Then we'll talk about principles of effective communication.
Thus, we can say that effective communication is one where the intended message is successfully delivered, received, and understood. Let us understand this with the help of an example. Your teacher asks you to read an answer. Have a look on the principles of effective communication. The main principles of effective communication are as follows. Simple language. The language used in communication should be simple. It should be understandable by both the sender and the receiver.
Yes, the communication cycle has to be simple. I mean to say that in principles of effective communication, the first and foremost thing is that the language should be simple. So that if the language is simple, then it will be easier for both the sender and the receiver to understand the thing better. This is the only main thing.
Definite. The communication should be definite. That is, its aim should be clear in the mind of the sender.
Yes. While sending a message, the communication should be definite. I mean, it should be to the point. So it's not like that if the sender asks a question, where is your house, then the receiver should say that my house is in, let's say, New Delhi. He should not say he should not say that that I my house is in your in Union Territory Delhi and in the district of like this. Okay, it should be proper and simple. It should be proper, simple, and it should be to the point. Okay, this is an example I've taken.
Complete and concise. The information provided in the communication should be complete and to the point. Appropriate. A proper medium of communication should be used, taking several factors into account, such as time, the distance between the sender and receiver, and the nature of the interaction.
Yes, appropriate medium. A proper medium of communication should be used. Okay, if proper medium in the sense that it should be in a peaceful area. If suppose if the sender and the receiver is talking to a very serious thing, then it should be the discussion should take place in a peaceful area where there is no disturbance, where they can talk it, in a effective way, so that the outcome of the communication, the outcome of the discussion comes vague.
Authentic. Information given should be factual. That is, it should not be misleading or false.
Yes. Next point is authentic. The information should be the information which is passed from the sender to the receiver should be authentic, it should be true, and it should be to the point.
Courteous. The sender should be polite and courteous while communicating. It helps in building a healthy relationship.
Yes, while communicating, the sender should be polite and courteous while communicating. Okay, this brings a healthy relationship between both them. Now we'll see elements of a communication cycle.
Students, let us study the elements of a communication cycle. Before proceeding further, let us discuss the various elements of the communication cycle. Sender. A sender is the person who expresses his opinion, idea, or message and sends it to the receiver. Message. Message refers to the information that the sender wishes to convey. Encoding. It refers to how the sender wishes to communicate the message, that is, using spoken or written language, signs, or body language.
Yes, three things has been discussed: sender, message, encoding. Okay, sender is the person who sends his message to the receiver. This is the same. This is the main concept. Message refers to the information that the sender wishes to convey. Yes, the message is the thing that the sender wishes to convey to the receiver. Now come encoding. Encoding means how the sender wishes to communicate the message. Okay, that means in using spoken language, using in spoken word or written language or signs or body language. Okay, the way of communicating. Okay, how you want to. This is the main thing.
Channel. It is a medium through which the message has to be carried and sent to others. Receiver. A receiver is the person for whom the message is intended. Decoding. It refers to how the receiver interprets the message and translates it into thoughts, depending on his circumstances and understanding.
Yes. Receiver means the person who receives the message, and decoding means how the receiver interprets the message and translates it into thoughts, depending on his circumstance and understanding. That means decoding means nothing but how the receiver take the message from the sender, how he reacts, what is his reaction after receiving the message is called decoding, and whether he can relate the things with his own idea or not. Then last one is feedback.
Feedback. It is the response that the receiver gives after the message is received and understood by.
Yes, after receiving the message, the receiver will give a feedback to the sender. Okay, it brings, it will encourage the sender what was the communication true, a meaningful communication or not. It will give the overall feedback.
Defining feedback. Feedback is an essential factor in the process of the communication cycle. It is the response or reaction of the receiver to the sender after perceiving or understanding the message. Here, the receiver becomes the sender and vice versa. After taking the receiver's response, the sender takes further action, thereby completing the communication cycle.
Yes, feedback is an essential factor in the process of the communication cycle. Yes, the main thing is feedback. How to define feedback is nothing but after receiving a message, when the receiver receives a message from the sender, then he gives a feedback to the sender that was the information accurate or not. Overall things what he has judged after receiving the message from the sender. Overall, his experience he will deliver to the sender in return, which is called feedback. Okay, so now we'll proceed to importance of feedback.
Example. Students, let us understand descriptive feedback.
Just a second.
Scripted feedback. Students, let us understand.
Yes, now we'll see importance of feedback.
Feedback is required to continue the process of active communication. It can be effective only when it is heard, interpreted, and accepted. It determines the way forward. Feedback helps people to get on track. It guides them to know how to succeed their performance. Feedback is a vital part of effective learning as it gives clear guidance to the students on how to improve their knowledge and performance. It can enhance students' confidence, self-awareness, and enthusiasm for learning. Depending on the feedback, they take the right action for the next step.
Yes. So importance of feedback. Importance of feedback is very important because when a sender will send message to the receiver, then the receiver will judge the things and he will in return he will give the feedback, which I've already told. Now, what is its importance? The importance is that if the sender, if the receiver gives gives a suppose a negative feedback. So I am citing an example. If the receiver gives a negative feedback to the sender, what what will be the learning is that the sender will try to improve his communication skills. The sender will try to improve his way of communicating. Okay, the sender will try to if it is in the written form of communication, the sender will try to write the message in a more suitable manner, in a more decent manner. Okay, and if this is in suppose it's a verbal communication, then what will happen is that the sender will try to convey the message in a decent language, in a proper what is it, in a proper manner. If this is verbal communication, the sender will try to convey the message in a proper manner, in a respective manner. Okay, so that the receiver get impressed, and in return the receiver gives uh, a good feedback. Okay, a good feedback for the sender. This is the main importance of feedbacks. Okay, now from the text, if I follow, feedback helps people to get on track. This is the main point, is that uh, if the, as I've said, that if the sender is sending message to the receiver and the receiver is not happy with the language of the message, with the tone of the message, then the receiver will give a negative feedback. So this entire cycle will help the sender to come on track. Okay, so then it is also required to continue the process of active communication. Okay, then for students, if I talk about students who are studying in school, for them it's very important, as it can enhance the student's confidence. Suppose if the student is communicating with his teacher, so some what happens, out of, let's say, out of 100 students, one or two students comes like that, they don't even know how to communicate with their teacher, how, what should be the tone. So for that, the teacher the teacher will give them a wrong, sorry, not wrong, the teacher will give them a negative feedback, okay, which will uh, which the students will try to improve their communication skills. Whatever communication maybe, it can be verbal, it can be written, okay. So this is an example which I've cited. If this When the students will try to communicate with the teacher, and somehow if the student cannot, if the students cannot give give the communication to a, I mean to say that if the students fails to communicate with the teacher in a proper manner, then the teacher will try to make them understand that how to talk in a decent manner, and which is also a part of feedback. So now we will talk about descriptive feedback.
Understand the importance of students. Let us understand descriptive feedback. Descriptive feedback includes specific information in the form of written comments or verbal conversations that help the learner understand what he needs to do in order to improve. According to Black Harrison, Lee and William in 2003, descriptive feedback is the most powerful tool for improving students' learning. In other words, it enables students to learn how their current achievement along with the weaknesses which need to be improved. It includes suggestions that can achieve their objectives. It also provides direction for the students to identify steps taken to fulfill their goals.
Okay, so descriptive feedback includes specific information in the form of written comments. That means in the uh, verbal, in the written communication, or it also happens in verbal conversation also, okay, that helps the learner understand that what he needs to do in order to improve. Okay, so in descriptive feedback, if I again take the example of student, then it enables students to learn about the current achievement along with the weaknesses which need to be improved. I'm citing an example. Whenever after an exam for school students only, whenever the exam gets over, and let's say after a few days the result comes out. So in result, the school issues a progress report in which class teacher remark sections are assigned. Class teacher remark section are there, in which the class teacher gives the comment that what the teacher needs to do in order to improve. Okay, so this is also a descriptive feedback. So if the student's performance is not satisfactory, then the class teacher will say that you need to improve, you need to work hard. So this is also descriptive feedback, and which enables the students to fulfill their ultimate goal. Okay, the goal is nothing but to to score more marks in the exam, to score high marks in the exam. So this is what descriptive feedback is. That descriptive feedback is nothing but it's a written feedback. It comes also in verbal communication also. Descriptive means to to give the feedback in a complex manner, in a descriptive manner. So now we'll talk about some benefits of feedback.
However, it does not include grades, marks, or wooden symbols. Benefits of descriptive feedback. Descriptive feedback should be focused on along with providing suggestions to improve further. It offers the following benefits. It provides useful information to students about their learning. Fills the gap between their present level of performance and the learning. Enables the students to self-assess and self-motivate.
Yes, the benefits of descriptive feedback is nothing but it provides useful information to students about their learning. Okay, this book is it's taking more examples about students. Okay, because this is a class 10 level book. Okay, this is as I am teaching class 10 IT. So it provides useful information to students about the learning. Okay, then it fills the gap between the present level of performance and the learning goal. Yes, as I've said, in the progress report, after the class teacher comment about their performance, then the students try to fill the gap of their their weakness, that they try to fill up the weakness point. Okay, and so that they can shine in their next exam. So then enables the students to self-assess and set their goals accordingly. Yes, after, if I cite the example of this same example only, then after getting the comment from the class teacher, the students will self-assess and it will set their goal accordingly. The goal is nothing but to score more marks in the next coming exam. Okay, so now we'll go to specific and non-specific feedback.
Depending on the information being conveyed from it. Specific feedback. Specific feedback provides detailed information about something particular relating to a task or the individual performance. It is beneficial as it gives the receiver something sustainable to think about and motivate a such needed improvement.
Yes, specific feedback means it provides detailed information about something particular. Okay, for example, the same student case, whenever, let's say, the school calls for a parents teacher meeting. Okay, the school calls for a parents teacher meeting. In the parents teacher meeting, the class teacher said that the student is not performing well in his exam, in his studies. So now, which subject, let's say it is six subjects are there in their exam: English, Hindi, Math, Science, SST, and computer. So out of this six subject, a student will never fail or never score poor marks in his all the three subjects. Only in one or two subjects the students may score less mark. Now what are these subjects? So if this class teacher mentioned that the student is not performing well in, let's say, SST, so he's mentioning the word, he's mentioning the subject which is SST. So specifically he's mentioning the things. So this is nothing but this is a specific feedback. Okay, the feedback in which the specific terms will be there, the specific problems will be allotted. I mean to say that in the feedback in which the specific problems will arise, specific problem which is particular, which is very much which is very much minute, which is very much serious. This type of things are known as specific problems, and which will ultimately need a specific feedback in order to make the things proper, in order to make the things effective. So now we'll see about non-specific feedback.
Outline for the future. Non-specific feedback. Non-specific feedback in general gives a vague response to the receiver. It may not be of much help as it does not guide the receiver properly to achieve the desired goal. It gives the impression that the sender has not given a positive response.
Yes, in non-specific feedback in general gives a vague response to the receiver. I mean, a general response will give. It may not be it may not be of much help as it does not guide the receiver properly to achieve the desired goals. Okay, in non-specific feedback, what will happen is that the receiver will not specifically tell the problem. In general he will tell the problem. Okay, in general he will give the feedback. This is nothing, the in general, not specifying the problem, not specifying the feedback. In general things are called non-specific feedback in feedback category. but specific feedbacks are required so that the sender, the students, or whatever it may be, so they can improve the things. Okay, they can improve their weakness point in order to shine higher. In order to shine more, they can improve their weakness point. So that's why specific feedbacks are required. Okay, so we have done. So we are done with communication cycle. Communication cycle. Then under communication cycle, whatever things were there, principles of effective communication, elements of communication cycle, feedback, defining feedback, importance of feedback, descriptive feedback, and specific and non-specific feedback. We are done with it. So the notes for this will be uploaded in the Google Classroom, in the Google Classroom of Microsoft Services. It will be uploaded today only. Thank you.